Remember, Myanmar hit the headlines for the wrong reasons on the 1st of February when the military suddenly seized control and detained its elected lawmakers. And the United States has now threatened Myanmar with certain targeted sanctions. US President Joe Biden has said that Myanmar's military must relinquish power and that they should release all the lawmakers and activists who have been detained.
There can be no doubt in a democracy, force should never seek to overrule the will of the people or attempt to erase the outcome of a credible election. The Burmese military should relinquish power they have seized, release the advocates and activists and officials they have detained, lift the restrictions on telecommunications, and refrain from violence.
China has successfully conducted a land-based mid-course anti-ballistic missile technical test. Beijing's Ministry of National Defense says Thursday's test was carried out within its borders and it reached its desired target. It also said the test was defensive in nature and not aimed at a specific country. This is the fifth land-based ABM technical test Beijing has publicly announced. However, the test comes amid tensions between Washington and Beijing regarding Taiwan and the South China Sea.
Killed by 4 bullets to the head and 1 in his back, Luqman Slim was found dead in his car in southern Lebanon early on Thursday. He was a longtime activist and fierce critic of Hezbollah. There has been no claim of responsibility. More than a year ago, Slim asked for protection against the Iran-backed armed group, which controls political power in the country. For many, Slim's killing brought back memories of the post-2005 period, when former Prime Minister Rafiq Hariri and other politicians opposed to Syria and its ally Hezbollah were assassinated. The group, which has an armed wing, has denied any role in those killings, and its supporters have come to its defense.
Luqman was against Hezbollah, Syria and Iran, but it doesn't mean fingers should be pointed at them. There could be someone trying to pin it on them.
قرار بود مرا بکشن، ترور بکنن و به همین خاطر من به سفارت ترکیه زمانی که مراجعه کردم اونا خیلی زود در ظرف 2 روز بر من ویزای فوری صادر کردن با تمام فامیلم. من آمدم به ترکیه و فعلا در ترکیه هستم و اگر نمی آمدم
Meanwhile, the Brazilian mining giant Vale has agreed to pay $7 billion in terms of damages and compensation for those people who lost their lives after a dam collapse. Remember, 270 people ended up losing their lives. Now, the Brumadinho disaster took place on the 25th of January in 2019. It is considered one of the worst environmental tragedies in Brazilian history. The dam burst and it destroyed almost about 300 acres of native forest immediately. It also polluted about 200 miles of the local Paraopeba River, rendering it useless as a water supply source for the state. The traces of the toxic sludge that came out of the dam were found later as far away as the São Francisco River, which supplies water to 5 different states in Brazil.
An Iranian diplomat accused of planning to bomb a meeting of an exiled opposition group in France in 2018 was sentenced to 20 years in prison on Thursday. Prosecution lawyers from Belgium and other civil parties said Vienna-based diplomat Assadoullah Assadi was guilty of attempted terrorism after a foiled plot to bomb a rally of the National Council of Resistance of Iran near Paris in June 2018. It brings to an end the first trial of an Iranian official for suspected terrorism offences in Europe since Iran's 1979 revolution.
A diplomat can't just do anything. He has an immunity of function, not an immunity for criminal and terrorist acts he's committed. The second fundamental thing is to recognize the responsibility of the Iranian state.
Dispersed by police, these people protested in Istanbul despite a ban on demonstrations under COVID restrictions. They wanted to show solidarity with students from Boğaziçi University. They have been protesting nearly a month against their government's appointment of a university president. They say that decision is political and they want academic freedom and to elect their own. Hundreds of students were detained after the rallies. Some remain in custody. Turkey's president questioned their actions.
Are you students or terrorists who attempted to blockade your Chancellor's room?
The students want the new president, also known as a rector, to resign. He says he won't.
Watch out!
As ICC judges delivered their ruling, 46-year-old Dominic Ongwen remained silent and expressionless, just as he had during the more than 230 hearings during the course of his trial.
The chamber has therefore convicted Dominic Ongwen of a total of 61 crimes, comprising both crimes against humanity and war crimes.
The litany of crimes are some of the most gruesome imaginable, enlisting child soldiers, commanding babies to be thrown in rubbish bins and left to die, attacking refugee camps, and using rape and forced pregnancy as weapons of war. The convictions relate to his actions in Uganda between 2002 and 2005. The defence argues that Ongwen is innocent as he himself was abducted by the Lord's Resistance Army at the age of 9.
In this jagged mineral universe on the far reaches of the Dead Sea, backhoes and trucks turn and return as in a mysteriously choreographed ballet, pouring down, pushing back into a precipice what looks like grainy sand. A wall, what's more, a 46-foot high wall made of salt, is being erected on a 23-mile stretch of the 150-mile border, only partially fortified, marked by the Arava seasonal river and shared by two countries at peace with each other. This colonel is responsible for the security of the border area. Each company of the brigade he commands secures a 25-mile section.